Sir.
Yes, I can see, sir. I can see it.
All right then. That's good. So welcome everybody to lesson number 12. And in today's lesson, we are going to look at the continuation of our advanced market structure. In the previous lesson, we look at it in terms of candlesticks, creating impulse and correction. Now we are going to look at how to combine the candlestick structure with the general market structural formation using break of structure, that is BMS or BOS, and something we call inducement, which is IDM. So if you see the abbreviation IDM, I'm referring to inducement. And if you use the abbreviation BOS or BMS, it means I'm referring to break of structure or break of market structure. It's the same thing. Then we also be looking at something we call change of character in the market, and I will explain all these things to you. When do we call a movement inducement, and when do we call a movement change of character, and how many ways can we use change of character to trade the market? We will look at all these things. All right. So now, if this is the first time you are joining our live session, know that this training is free of charge and all videos are uploaded to our YouTube channel, Accurate Pips. Okay, so if you are not subscribed, you can just go to YouTube and search Accurate Pips. That is our logo, and you can see all the lessons we have done so far are all here. So you can go there, subscribe, watch the previous lessons, and get yourself updated from that time. Also, those of you who feel Accurate Pips is doing a great work and want to assist us, please, in the description of each of the videos, the lessons we have, you see the details or information there. This one is because of those of you who messaged me that how can you help my Nigerian friends and Zambia friends that messaged me that because I'm giving you free knowledge, you wanted to assist in one way or the other. I've dropped the details. If you want to use USDT, Bitcoin, or whatsoever you want to use, the details are in the description of each of the videos on the YouTube channel. So you can just get the information. And once you do it, just message me that you have done what you wanted to do. And my friends in Ghana, if you also want to assist, you can let me know. We'll send you our Momo payment details and you can assist. But bear it in mind, we are not charging anything. So it should be your willingness to do so. Okay? All right. With that said, let me just start the lesson because today's lesson will be a little bit long. Yeah. Okay, so here I have two different demonstrations. Okay, demonstration on the left here and the demonstration on the right here. All right, so now, okay, I'm coming. Let me add somebody to the call. All right, so now what we are looking at here is a combination of what we learned last meeting and a new addition known as this IDM and BOS. Okay, now how do we know if this particular movements are valid or invalid. Okay, that's what we are going to look at. Okay, now in trading, inducement is very important in confirming a high or a low in the market. That is in terms of the structural formation of the market. Now, the same thing was what we were looking at in terms of candlesticks. So in terms of candlesticks, we are looking at the low of the previous candles being taken out. But in this particular lesson, we are going to be looking at the taking out of the previous low that was formed in terms of the candlestick movement to form what we call the IDM, which is this. So now let me show you what I mean. So you can see that here we have this movement over here. You can see this green candle, the low was taken by this red candle, so that movement is valid. Here also we can see this took out the low of this previous candle, so we have a valid pullback in terms of candlesticks. Then over here you can see here this green candle was broken. We have a new high form here. The low of this red candle was taken by this guy, so we have a valid pullback based on our candlestick theory. But now we have another theory where, you see, because we are on an uptrend, we want to be sure that we are getting a very accurate high in terms of structural, where you mark as your actual higher high and higher low in terms of structure and not in terms of candlesticks. Okay, so in this case, the general impulsive, so first, this is our new low. I'll come back here and explain. Now, the general impulsive move over here is from this point to the top here. So let me use another color to represent this. So this, the full impulse move. So let me make this blue. All right. So these are one single leg in terms of structural impulse movement. Then this is our structural pullback or correction. Why do we see this as a valid structural pullback or correction? Pullback based on the candlestick movement was taken out. You can see the low of this last pullback by this movement. It has been what? Taken out by this movement. So we consider this as an inducement because it has induced. All right. I'll define the term inducement for you in call our actual structural impulse before our next structural pullback before our next structural impulse. Now, within this structural impulse is our next candlestick structural formation, which is here. This is a valid pullback, and then we have this. Okay, so let me change the color to orange so that it will match. Okay, now this is what happened. This means that we have breaking structure, and once we break structure, it means we've confirmed our structural low formation. Okay, so this becomes our structural low over here, our structural low, and these are structural high. Before we have the internal structures, which is formed based on the candlesticks. Okay, these ones. So let me change the color of that of the main structural formation, which is here. Let me make this different color, and this also different color. All right, so this is our main move. All right, so if we come here, so we have maybe the main low is here, then that we have the main second higher low. But now we cannot confirm that just because this has broken the previous high, once it reach here and do something like this. So let me say it do something like this and go up, then we say this place is our new high. No. Now this high will only be confirmed if market is to move this way and break this candlestick's structural low. So if market is to come and break this candlestick structural low over here, then that means we form a new inducement. So our next inducement would have moved to this side. Okay. All right. Then that one we can now confirm this guy as our new higher high, structural higher high. And then we wait for it to be broken, and then we confirm here our new structural low. But if we have market, let me delete this, guys, so that I'll demonstrate this. But if we have market performing something like this, let's say market create maybe a new candlestick low by breaking the low of this candlestick, and then give us something like this, and now breaks this particular low here, then that is when we can say a new high in this case has been created, and market maybe leaving another move here before breaking this guy. Now when this happens, it means this will now be our inducement, because it is the recent low created in the market, which is not the actual structural pullback, but the candle the previous lesson we had. All right. Okay. Now, can you guys hear me? When that happens, it means that this whole thing is now part of the whole structural impulse. Are you okay? Before now, we have the high here, confirm, structural high, confirm. So this high here is just the candlestick formation or structure high. Oh, sorry. So here will now be the candlestick structural high and low. Then here now become our main structural high, and once this side is broken, then we can now confirm this, because this is the lowest point it went, it becomes our main structural low. Now this is formation will now be candlestick high and low, just like we have over here. All right. So this is how we determine a structural high or low, market structural high or low. See that when we did, this is how you actually determine the this is how you determine the actual valid pullbacks and corrections in the market. All right. Okay. Now let's go to the next example. If you watch here, you see that I said this is valid break of structure, but here is not a valid break of structure. That's the only thing I'm going to explain about the two charts, to differentiate the two charts. Okay, the rest of the movement is the same as what I've explained here. Okay, so we will now look at what I'm saying. This is not a valid break of market structure. That's what I'm going to explain right now. All right, before I'll talk about certain things you need to take notice of based on theory. Okay, all right. Now, you see that over here, this candlestick. So those of you ask question about candlestick, wick, or body confirming or so ever, this is where you have to pay attention. So in terms of the actual market structure, the structural movement, this is not a valid break of structure. This was our previous high, but this cannot be considered as the candlesticks that break that high. All right. So still, it means this area here cannot be yet considered as our new low formation, because market could decide to maybe from here guy before maybe even coming to now close a candle body above that guy. So when this candle body close, it means that is the only time that we might say this is a valid break of structure, and this will now become the new actual low of what. So you will now shift this high here, and this low will now shift here. So we call it shift in a high on a low. All right, because structure was not able to hear me, let me know. And if you cannot
Yes,
hear
sir.
me, please always
Yes,
let
we
me
can
know.
hear you.
All right, because here network is not always stable, so always just get me informed that this guy is valid. Okay, we can do so when, let's say, after this guy wick, then we need this candlestick here to also close body above this wick. Once it close body above this wick, then we can now confidently say that this particular high has been taken out. But on if this guy also decide to just um close below this wick, then we don't have a valid break of structure. All right, but if the third candle, the fourth candle, all of them, so you see this is equal high, so it's still not. But once this one, okay, is able to now break this entire area, then we can now consider this guy as a valid break of market structure. And then you now be preparing for market to maybe take this inducement, because that is the last pullback that was created before this impulse movement in terms of candlesticks. Then you now wait. Once this guy is taken out, okay, if this guy is taken out like this, so if this guy comes down here, oh sorry, if he comes break this guy, whether it is the wick or the body. When it comes to this one, we don't care about the body closing. No, it is the break of structure that we are so concerned about, the body closing above it. Okay, but when it comes to the inducement, just the wick alone taking that low is enough to confirm it. Then we move like this. Then now we can now confirm our new structural high. And once there is a break of structure, we can also now consider our new lower low in terms of structure. So once this guy now close properly, we can now consider this area as our new low. Okay, now let me read some things to you here to take notice of before I move on. Okay, all right. So in the previous lesson, as I said earlier, we learned about impulse and correction in terms of candlesticks. In actual term, we want to look at the whole impulse and correction in terms of structure itself, the backbone of the market. Now, what is an impulse move? This is the move in the market where price momentum continues strongly in one direction. So in a bullish direction, it continues in an uptrend. In a bearish direction, it continues in a downtrend. And when we talk about the corrective moves or pullback, as we call it, some people also call it retracement, then we are looking at a move in a short period of time where price try to move opposite to the direction of the impulsive movement. So if you see here, this is going opposite to this impulsive movement. That is the corrective phase. Okay, that's why I said this is the main impulsive move in terms of structure, and this is the main corrective move in terms of structure. Then the next main impulsive move in terms of structure. All right. Now, one thing you need to understand is that structural impulse move after confirmation of a structural pullback after taking out inducement creates a new high that's in the bullish market. But in the bearish market, it creates a new low, and we'll be looking at the bearish explanation very soon. And the corrective move is used to confirm when price takes out the most recent low in terms of the candlesticks moves, and that gives us the inducement. All right, now we'll be using inducement in two ways, but we'll talk about the other way as we move on. Okay, we'll talk about the other way as we move on in the lesson, but for now we are looking at it in terms of structure. I hope you guys are understanding what I'm explaining. All right, so now please, everybody should mute themselves for me. Now, to confirm any correction in structure, market must take out at least the previous low. Okay, market must take out at least the previous low in order to confirm any structural correction. Okay, now in this case, if let's say this candle over here, the one, let me use over here, the one over here, okay, let's say if that particular candle was not to take out the low of this candle over here, okay, this pullback will have been deemed invalid. This entire pullback would have been deemed invalid. So Tola, the first person that asked the question, this was what you were asking. If this guy was not to take this inducement, then in terms of structural movement, you have considered this pullback invalid. Okay, but because it has taken out this to create the IDM, so in terms of structural movement, it is now considered as a valid pullback. All right. Now, what is inducement? Inducement is the most recent valid pullback and is confirmed when market takes out the low of that recent valid pullback in a bullish market and the high of the most recent pullback in a bearish market. So when you are watching the video, you can pause it and write these definitions down. Note that IDM is used to confirm high in a bullish and a low in a bearish trend. But break of structure, which is the BOS, is used to confirm lows in a bullish trend when they take out the high, and also used to confirm the high in a bearish trend when they take out the low. This means to confirm break of structure, the candle body should close above the previous high, as I've explained in this particular diagram over here. The previous high in a bullish trend and a previous low in a bearish trend. You understand more better when we look at more examples as we move on in the course of this lesson. On that note, let's look at the bearish structure. Then we look at what we refer to as change of character before we end today's lesson. Okay, so first of all, let me remove these drawings so that the chart will be neat. Before I continue with the bearish, whilst I'm clearing the drawings, if you have any immediate question that you want to ask, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Yeah, Emmanuel.
Sir, please, I wanted to ask, is there any psychology behind inducement?
Yes. It is an area where a lot of traders are being deceived into making the opposite decision. Okay, so in this area, a lot of people will be like, I'm buying from this area. So they'll enter buy trades. But before they know, the institutions, the big traders will take them using this wick to remove what we call liquidity over here. And then that will lead them into losing their trades. That is why they call it inducement. They have been induced in the market. All right. Now, once that is done, that is now telling you that we are going to continue with the impulsive movement. Okay, but this is used in two folds. Used to confirm the new higher high created in the structure, okay, or highest point created in the structure. And two, we can use it to determine entry possibilities or new areas where market will reverse in the future. Okay, so we'll be looking at that. We've not got into that area yet. Please, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank
Is
you.
any other question? Now, note that whatsoever I'm going to say for the bearish move is just, and will I say, it's just an opposite to whatsoever we are looking at in terms of the bullish move. Okay, so the only difference here is that in the bullish move we are looking to take the previous low, but in the bearish move here, if you see, we are taking the previous high to confirm the inducement and the high, and the low, the new low in the market. Then we are also breaking the previous low to now confirm the new high in the market. So in terms of structure, this will be our main structural move in this market. Okay, but in terms of candlesticks, these are our movement from here to here, here to here, this side to this side, before we had our structural move. And then over here, in terms of candlestick, because this red candle here, the high of it has been taken by this, it confirms our pullback. Our pullback is valid before we now take out the inducement to confirm our actual structural high in the market. And then we continue and take out this low in the market to confirm this break of structure as valid. And when we come here, if let's assume these two candles that I added during the bullish explanation are not there, it's just the wick breaking this low over here, then that means this break of structure is not valid in the market. All right, it is not valid in the market. Now, I'll be explaining the last thing called change of character. Okay, now change of character occurs when the recent confirmed structural low, that is in terms of bullish structure, or the recent confirmed structural high in terms of the bearish market. So here in this case, this will be our recent confirmed, these are recent confirmed structural high in this bearish market. Now, what we are saying is when this particular one, recent high in this bearish market, is taken out, so if market happens to come and take this guy, and we have a candle body close this guy, then what has change of character? Okay, COH small o, sorry, I say CH small o CH, change of character. That is the abbreviation for it. All right, so that is what you'll be considering when this particular area is taken out. This for bearish market. So when change of character occurs, it is giving us an idea that the market is about to change direction. In this case, from bearish to bullish. So once this happens, then we begin. It is not yet confirmed that we have changed character, but we've changed direction. But now it is now giving an idea that we are about to change direction. So maybe if you were looking for sales, it means that right now you should prepare yourself to get the confirmation and start looking for buys in the market. So maybe if, let's say, the next one comes like this, and then we have another high, confirmed high created, then now we know that market has truly changed direction, which means you'll be looking for buys from these next pullbacks that will occur in the market, and then it will now start the bullish trend. So let's say maybe we have some confirmed zones over here. We have some confirmed zones, buy zones over here. Then when market comes over here, you begin to buy from that point in the market. All right. So that's one thing you need to understand about what we call change of character, and I'll be explaining these things. And we'll be using these things as we move on in the lesson, but that is one way of using change of character. The second way is when price taps into a demand or a supply zone. Okay, when price taps on what, a demand or a supply zone. Okay, the first one is this type is, we use this type when price didn't tap on a demand or supply zone. So let's say here, okay, let's say there was a demand zone over here and price comes and tap into this demand zone. Then in this case, we don't need price to come and break this recently formed structural low, but rather once price breaks this in candlestick high that was formed, which we would have used as inducement to confirm our new low. Instead of that, we will now rather consider this as our change of what? Character. Okay, so you have this, something like this. Use this side rather as our particular one, the one that we were previously using as inducement. If price taps on a PO, please guys, can you hear me? Whether supply or a demand POI, and take the session we used to call inducement in the previous structural marking, then now we will refer to that area as change of character, because on the lower time frame we'll be using that scenario to make our entry. So please take note of the entry, the differences. We will be looking at it better as we move on. Okay, so this one, just understand the difference between the two. So the first thing we look at is known as change of character without any without tapping on any higher time frame on any POI, that is supply or demand. Okay, but then taps on a demand or a supply zone in the market. So this works same way when we look at the bullish, looking at supply zones. Okay, so if we tap into this supply zone and market takes out the recent area here in terms of candlestick, sorry, I think my network went off. When it happens like this, okay, and then take this first low, which was formed by the candlestick structure, then we say there is a change of character. If price comes down here to take this, I'm beginning to have issue with my network, so it's breaking. All right, sorry about that. We are almost done. When it comes and take this recent low, structural low, then that one, without tapping on, let's say, this supply zone here, then we consider this a change of character in terms of structure. All right. So this is the lesson for today that we are looking at, and I've come to the end of this particular lesson. So if you have any question on this second part, unmute yourself and ask your question before we end the lesson. Thank you. So I'm waiting for your questions. Yeah, Emmanuel.
Sir, I'm suggesting either if you can get us a rare market and show us the change of character, if that would be possible.
Yeah, I'll do that, but not in this lesson. I don't like to make the lessons very long. When it happens like that, people feel lazy to watch. So that will be in the next lesson. So you have to go and watch this theory aspect before we meet in the next lesson for that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Is there any other question? All right, so if there's no other question, remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel and also join the various social media handles on Telegram and WhatsApp. And also those of you who were asking that I wanted to assist, as I said, our Bitcoin, our USDT addresses are all in the description of our YouTube videos. If you are in Ghana and want to pay through Momo, you can contact me as well. With that said, I'll see you in the next class, or maybe I'll record the next lesson and upload it. I don't know which day, but whichever thing be it, I'll let you know. Have a nice evening.